Strap into your seats and get ready. It's time for the Mortarpod.
Hey, it's Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here for this week's episode of the Mortarpod. The Mortarpod's brought to you by SeemsGoodMagic.com. It's my website that I put my draft videos up on, and I keep a blog and an eBay store, and I've been operating it for about a year and a half now, and I really enjoy it. I've been getting a lot of positive feedback from people who stop out and comment and check it out, and a lot of fan-submitted work, so if you think if you want your stuff put on my website, I'm more than happy to do that if, you correspond with me and we can work it out. But check out SeemsGoodMagic.com, and I just wanted to remind a lot of people about the eBay store in particular, because I do offer a really good deal on there. You only pay $1 shipping at most for any number of items, so you can really, there's quite a bit of good deals on there, and sometimes you pay a lot less in shipping too, so there's some really good deals on there. I urge people to check it out. Internationally, it only costs $3.50 for any number of items as well. So the shipping's not outrageous. We try and do a good deal on it. Got a pretty good variety of cards, so I urge people to check that out. Also urge people to check out VarenCamp.com. Scott Varenkamp designed SeemsGoodMagic.com. He did a great job, so I'd like to give him credit and urge people to check out his website so you can see sort of his portfolio and other work that he's done. And if you want to, hire him for web design work, you can contact me at mortarpod@seemsgoodmagic.com with any comments, criticisms on the show. At SeemsGoodMagic, follow us on Twitter, and that way you know when we're live streaming, which is Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. Central Time. Stop out, say hey. People that have, I really appreciate that. It's been cool hearing from people. So it's just Jake and I in this episode. And it's been a while since we haven't had a guest, but we talk about some Modern Master spoilers, some M14 spoilers, and have a good old time. So check it out. Enjoy the show, and yeah, I guess I will talk to you guys later.
Casey's.
Well, let's check out some more M14 spoilers. It's been a little while, Jake.
Look, they finally spoiled the basic lands.
They did. Kind of sucks, because it eats up those slots where you think you're going to see something new. But, yeah.
Like, why don't they just auto-spoil those at the beginning?
Yeah, we're pretty sure they're going to have basic lands.
Or just don't even count them, Like, one of those
these spoilers, yeah. Well, sometimes maybe they have the art for it. Not yet, though. Yeah, this time, if they didn't have art for any of them, they shouldn't have even spoiled them yet.
Yeah.
It was like an afterthought. It was like an afterthought. But let's look at Angelica Accord. We didn't get to see this card last time. What do you think of the picture?
I mean, it looks just like an angel. It doesn't necessarily look like an enchantment that produces an angel, but whatever. I think the card is awesome. I think it's a great build-around strategy.
Okay, so it's 4 mana, enchantment, uncommon. At the beginning of each end step, if you gain 4 or more life this turn, put a 4/4 white angel creature token is flying onto the battlefield. Yeah, it is actually a good idea, where it's like, give you some sort of reward strategy for lifelink.
Right. And you can be like, oh, I want to pick up all those lifelink guys. And there's that common 2/4 vigilance lifelink guy in this set.
And while M13 is in standard alongside it, Thragtusk in the turn progression is...
Well, and Rock's Faithmender, too.
Yeah.
So, like, you've got tons of ways to just make sure that you're gaining at least 4 life.
Yeah, it's true.
But, I mean, just producing an angel token, it is each end step. That's very important to note.
Yeah, so if you can gain life on your opponent's turn, too, you can still get your angel. It's a cool card.
I like it. Conceptually, it's really sweet.
How about, are you going to come up with some commander deck that you can...
Oh, it can totally go into a commander deck.
Most of yours do, since you run like 5 creature, 90 enchantment.
Yeah, exactly. I love life game too. But I think it's a sweet card. I don't know that it has any applications beyond like casual or limited.
We already talked about Archangel,
Johnny's
Chosen. Auramancer, I don't think we knew that was coming back necessarily,
Yeah.
but
It's a reprint.
yep. And Auramancer is 3 mana. When it enters the battlefield, return target enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. So
Maybe
looks
they'll
like a little bit of an aura theme.
Yeah, maybe they'll
already.
just reprint that whole kind of cycle where each creature had something that could get a permanent type or a card type out of the graveyard. You know, like Scrivener and Gravedigger. They were all part of the cycle in Tempest block
Yeah.
with the what was it?
And they were
Cartographer.
They were enchantments, or
They were all creatures that got something out of your graveyard, one specific type of card.
oh, that's kind of cool. I
Yeah.
don't remember those. Do you remember the name? We can look them up.
It was Treasure Hunter, which wouldn't be around probably now. They would probably put this in red.
Treasure Hunter's 3 mana 2/2. When it comes into play, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, they wouldn't print that now because that's more. Oh, you said it's more red.
I feel like it could be justified in red, but
They've had something similar to this, but
it's
in
been
Scars block.
It's been in white and blue before.
Yeah, with like
but-
Salvage Scout
Yeah,
is
Salvage
what.
Scout. But and Rootwater Thief out of blue, and Reconstruction. So there's effects for blue for that too, but I think that it would be okay in red. I think it could be justified.
I could see that. Oops. Okay, Bone Size Sliver. We did Brave the Elements. Now I'm actually kind of happy this is coming back. I have a soft spot for this card.
That card used to blow me out all the time when we would play.
Guess another guy who probably would love this card. Craig Wesco, Mr. White Weenie. I'm sure he's happy as hell. Brave the Elements has come back. Seriously.
Yeah.
He's always been a White Weenie player. He's totally going to play Brave the Elements.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I used to play in what block? What was in Standard at the time? Must have been Zendikar block for sure.
Block, and Conqueror's Pledge was the big slap in the face.
That one was good.
5 mana, 6 creatures.
Johnny Goldman was in Standard, and then he just like pumped all your weenies and then gave you.
Oh, right, because you also had Honor of the Pure too.
Yeah.
So Conqueror's Pledge, Johnny, and Honor of the Pure together.
A lot of ways
like
to pump.
Already,
yeah.
They were all 3/3s the turn you play them.
And there were some good creatures that time. I was rocking like Elite Vanguard, which is crazy to think, but I was rocking that card.
I think you had Kazandu Blade Master too.
Absolutely, yeah. I played him.
There was Vigilant First Strike 2/2.
I liked just like 2-drop flyers. I was playing straight up like Core Aeronaut and that Pegasus, the 2/1 flying, just
Not
from core
Charter,
set.
but yeah, Stormfront Pegasus.
Yeah, it was just Stormfront Pegasus. I was running that. It was like these.
I love
total
when sets
weak ass cards,
first come out because
you can get away with stuff like that.
Stuff like that is totally acceptable.
Yeah, that deck surprisingly did well, and it only had like 3 Path to Exile. Like it was the smallest removal suit ever. But
yeah, but you just push through with Brave.
Yeah.
And Brave the Elements in that way is really good. This, however, is not the only one color kind of format that Zendikar was.
True.
But
I mean, you could still make that deck, I bet. But
actually, Brave the Elements is probably more relevant because it's multicolor block right now.
I kind of want to take a look. Let's see what kind of white creatures are in
Brave
Standard.
the Elements was also in Standard on the heels of Alara block. And I remember it being a lot more relevant in the beginning of the set, or like in the beginning of that Standard, than it was in the end when full black was around. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Maybe it will actually help in the new Standard. What'd you search up?
I'm just looking for white creatures in Standard.
Oh.
Take a quick look at them, see what kind of creatures are dealing with. That's weird.
You should
Which colors
should do
exactly?
or exclude unselected color. Or no, that's not what it is. Because you selected these 4. No, you wanna only choose white and not choose any of the others.
Oh, I see.
And then exclude unselected colors.
So Boris Elite, Champ.
Or did you want to see the gold cards? I'm sorry.
No, that's
Oh,
okay. So, yeah, Boris Elite, Doom Traveler, Champ. This is just gonna be for a couple months, but these like I'm trying to think what kind of white human strategy maybe gets.
Those 3 right there. At
You're already looking good. Micaeus.
kind of Selfless Cathar is actually not terrible in like with Brave the Elements. If you can push through a lot of
I can
tokens,
see that.
you'd have to generate tokens though.
Yeah, tokens would work too. There's plenty of, I mean, you can do Lingering Souls with Brave the Elements. That actually sounds really good. Intangible Virtue.
Yeah.
It could be, I feel like actually right now that's true. The tokens deck would work the best with it because you have like a Midnight Haunting
Mm-hmm.
and you'd have the Lingering Souls and there's probably more flying token generation. I just can't think of it.
Yeah.
But even like Gather the Townsfolk.
Yeah, Gather the Townsfolk and Increasing Devotion to play kind of in place of Conqueror's Pledge.
Skyjack, he can push some damage through. Fencing Ace. Lead Inquisitor, because
Yeah,
it blocks
I like
too.
Inquisitor. Protection's a little less relevant right now.
Yeah. Near Heath Pilgrim, Precinct. Ooh, Precinct Captain's kind of cool with Brave the Elements too.
Sarah Avenger is really cool with it. But
Sarah Avenger's good.
sadly not good enough against Restoration Angel.
Thalia, even paying 2 for a Brave's not the worst, and at least protects her.
Mm-hmm.
Tended Knight, it's kind of cool.
That one is pretty cool. So Seller of Songbirds too.
Crusader of Odric, I could see that. That kind of, you know what I mean? That would be pretty good in a Brave the Elements style deck.
Mm-hmm.
Just a super efficiently costed fat creature, especially if you're doing tokens.
It's pretty sweet that like right on the heels of Innistrad, they decided to put Innistrad cards in a core set, you know? So like Crusader of Odric and Odric are both from Innistrad.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. That's cool that they did that, that they like aligned it.
Yeah. And well, it's like they decided that they didn't necessarily need these 2 cards in Innistrad, but they had a place for them flavor-wise, you know, in the core set.
Mm-hmm.
Or they had a place for them in the core set. I don't know how to say it exactly. I guess I'm kind of just repeating myself, but it's just cool that they decided to do it.
I agree. I like all the human interactions they have alone in white. But, ooh, Fiend Hunter's actually kind of cool with Brave.
Mm-hmm.
Frontline Medic.
Very good.
Good. Mentor is always cool. Yeah, alright, well, it's probably just going to be, I guess I'm going to stand by a token deck because it still works. I mean, Lingering Souls is still like the best card that deck's going to have.
Mm-hmm.
But it is cool that Brave the Elements is coming back. And if
Yeah.
we're going to see it for a while, who knows what's going to be in Theros.
It is a little sad that it doesn't work with Sorin's tokens, though, because that you would really want to do that in that deck.
They're black vamps instead of, well, it makes sense.
If they were white black vamps, it would be sweet.
Mhm.
But
There's some multicolored tokens too, right?
yeah, they've made them from time to time. Like the Call of the Nightwing token is blue-black.
That's right.
And like the Boros Soldiers are 1/1 haste, white and red or whatever.
The Boros Soldiers?
Yeah, like Boros Soldier tokens are red and white.
From a Symbol Legion. That's right.
Yeah, and Blaze Commando.
And Blaze Commando. Yeah, no, that's kind of interesting. Just clearly indicating that they're like Boros soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Call of the Nightwing is, I guess, what's the creature mashup on?
It's just a horror, I think. 1/1
Oh,
horror.
so it's like a Denrova horror color, I guess.
Yeah, well,
There is a Dimir horror thing going on.
Oh,
yeah.
and Consuming Adoration's a horror too.
He's an awesome one.
It's very horrible to look at.
Capation Knight. I don't think that we saw this one last time. This one's actually kind of cool and
Yeah.
limited.
It's a reprint, but
It's not like fantastic, but I think it's pretty good. It's 1 and a white, 1/1 human knight, first strike, and then you pay 1 and a white and it gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So it's a cool little like attacker. I guess since it's only a 1/1, it's a little less exciting, but
I feel like there's like an enchantment theme in this set.
yeah.
In this core set.
So if you put some auras on him, he'll
even
be good.
Divine Favor on him, making him a 2/4.
Equipment too.
Yeah, equipment.
We'll
would
see
be
what kind of
really
equipment we got, and that'll work well. It's been a while since equipment's been good.
good. Mhm.
There's been some Scars block rotated out, so
And that's fine.
That was
That's very fine.
yeah, it was cool. It was like a long season without equipment
But
because equipment's so good.
at the end of that standard, after like Feast and Famine and War and Peace had been out for a full year, it was just like, please God, rotate so we can get rid of these cards in standard.
Yeah, it's true. Devout Invocation we did. Divine Favor's coming back. Well, I always like this one more than Dark Favor. Even though Dark Favor is playable, I never liked that they like made
Still
it
kept the life loss or whatever.
well, like Sinister Strength's just like strictly better, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
Sinister Strength was 2 mana. Enchanted creature
and
gets
it-
+3/+1.
and at the time it would
and
have
is black.
protected the creature from any sort of
Dark
black
Banishing
removal.
effect too.
Yeah.
And it was and that's from Plane Shift, so that's way old. How many years ago was Plane Shift? It's probably like it's more than a decade at this
They
point.
were just trying to make the
And then Dark Favor is they made it. What was the first course that it came out on? M12. Okay, but it's 1 and a black. When it enters, you lose 1 life, and the enchanted creature gets +3/+1.
It's not terrible.
No, it's playable. I feel like it, and it makes more sense flavorfully.
Yeah.
But because it's like you're getting a Dark Favor, so you gotta lose a life for it.
Yeah. I like that it doesn't give the creature a negative toughness or anything, which has kind of been the primary way to justify or like to make these cards like riot spikes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I like more that it takes away from your life.
and gives it to the creature.
Yeah, but the amount of life that the creature gets is crazy, or damage potential that they get is crazy.
But Sinister Strength is just so much better.
Yeah.
I guess it's
You're
justified
right.
because this is a core set,
Yeah.
and that was a part of a block.
And
So
this
better
is
cards,
like,
better cards are printed in
Yeah.
block. They straight up say that.
yeah. It's their way to expand on what the core set does. So that's why they print these kind of most basic cards they can in core set, and then, they put offshoots of those cards or like cards with that plus something else into the expert level sets or whatever they're called, expansion sets. Cancel being like one of the primary best examples with like Stoic Rebuttal.
Yeah. And then sometimes I just bring Cancel into the block too, which is strange. But Griffin Sentinel coming back, 1/3 Flying Vig. Hive Stirrings we saw. Let's see. What's Seraph for the... Yeah, I think we even saw that one. Show of Valor's coming back. We didn't see that. These ones have question marks, so they're still like up in the air, I guess.
Well, they don't know what rarity they are, but they know they're coming back.
Oh, okay. And Show of Valor's a decent trick. 2 mana +2/+4.
It's actually really strong, I think.
Yeah, what's cool about Show of Valor is it's half of what's the Fuse card.
Oh, okay.
From Dragon's Maze. Protect and Serve, yeah.
The one I have a huge problem with.
I've actually played that one. It's grown on me. You just play it for the
I wish
the 3 white or the 2 and a white side.
I wish that it was like a little stronger somehow, but whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah, it's a little bit underpowered. I understand, but I've played the other half of it just to protect myself from some damage, to fog a bunch of damage one turn too, and it's not bad. I mean, yeah,
do you feel
it's
like
playable.
-6, -0 on an uncommon is
Good enough?
is too good at 1 blue mana? You know? Because
it could have been.
Think about Shrink from Homelands.
Is -5, -0?
Yeah, for 1 green. And it's like only 1 turn, and it's only 1 creature. So I would have rather had -5, -0, I guess, and 1 mana.
Yeah, that would have been 4 mana trick. That's true. Because 5, I guess it does seem a little bit pricey. But I mean, it can do multiple things.
Yeah, but you're not getting like a huge benefit from that -5, -0.
No, you're not.
-6, -0.
It's very dependent on the way they're.
And your
it's better.
board position.
It's much better defensively.
Yeah.
I think, because then it's like, on a big board, I could see it if you can play both of it. It's a good defensive spell there.
Yeah, and so is Profit Loss for that reason. But
Mhm.
Profit Loss generally doesn't have the same effect that Zealous Persecution had in Limited.
Looks like we got our new Rhino Cleric. Stonehorn Chanter, 6 mana, uncommon, 4/4, and then you pay 6 mana and it gains Vigilance and Lifelink until end of turn.
Cool.
Kind of like it.
Hmm.
I feel like that'd be a good limited card.
I like
Vigilance and Lifelink's pretty sweet, but it's not fantastic, but it's actually a little bit overcosted.
Yeah, maybe a little, but so is Crawl Warrior.
And core set in general.
It should have
Creatures
like
aren't as efficient. Air Servant was amazing. Air Servant's 5 mana, 4/3 flyer, and it has 2 and a blue, tap target creature with flying. Even as a 5 mana, 4/3 flyer, it would be really good.
hmm
And then they gave it an ability that lets it like continuously get in.
Right, right. I really like this card in limited
Yeah.
before.
Air Servant is just real good. Archaeomancer's coming back. This is always kind of a fun card in limited. 4 mana, 1/2. When it enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. It's pretty good in limited.
It
If you have
is
the
pretty
right
good in limited.
if you have the right deck for it.
God, it was so good with Talrand's Invocation.
It was amazing with that. Sometimes just there was the red deck that was like Flames of the Firebrand and Searing
hmm
Spears and stuff.
hmm
So you were like,
Yeah, red blue was good in that limited
Yeah.
too. It was a fun.
you just pulled the little tools that you needed to
Yeah.
like deal with the board.
M13 was fun.
Mhm.
Limited.
Cancel's coming back. Claustrophobia is in core set. Now this I'm actually kind of happy about because I really liked this card a lot in Innistrad block, which is the first time that it came out. But it's 1 and 2 blue enchantment aura. When it enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. This is the best type of blue removal you can ask for. Locks down any creature and makes it so they don't untap. So they have to either untap it, and even if it gets tapped again after that, at least it stays tapped again. So
I feel like they could have gone with a different name here.
you know, like Claustrophobia.
I liked it for Innistrad, but I don't know about this one. It's a little harder to swallow in a core set, like with no context. Do you know
What
I'm
is
saying?
what is the context of Claustrophobia?
Well, the whole concept of Innistrad was your fears, like
All
of
all
your,
the tropes,
all
yeah.
of the tropes and stuff. And
the
so
horror tropes.
yeah, so just being debilitated by your own fear or whatever worked in that block, but now it doesn't necessarily. Or to use that makes more sense for a black card.
Creatures can still be claustrophobic without
Oh,
without
God.
without their horror tropes being around.
No, but it's just a little strange out of context, and especially if they use the original art.
Yeah, I am curious what kind of art they're gonna use. Actually, let's look at the art. I want to remember it because I kind of know what it looks like, but it's bizarre.
Oh, it's terrifying. The guy, there's like claw marks on the inside of the coffin, even
Oh, okay.
like where he's been scratching at it.
This isn't exactly how I remember it, but yeah, that's crazy. So it's the guy like screaming, and he's in a coffin.
Yeah, he's in a coffin.
He's trying to get out. Why are there nails coming in, like right there?
Looks like they just missed the way the board was.
Yeah, that'd be really scary. Being buried alive is like huge fear. A lot of people, I think.
Yeah. Jinx, you own your kid.
It's not good.
No, it's not something you. It's not something you're not afraid of, I suppose.
Yeah.
What's one of my least worst fears? Oh, I guess being buried alive. I could accept that.
It looks like divination is coming back because last time we looked, it was just Glimpse of the Future, and we're like, oh, they're replacing it. But I'm still confused why Glimpse of the Future is going to be around. Very curious about this.
I don't really understand it myself.
Yeah, I don't get it.
And to call it Glimpse the Future, it totally would make more sense to be able to put those cards back on top of your library in any order, Or they could have just reprinted Dreamcast at Uncommon and called it Glimpse the Future. Because then it's like, oh, I don't need these 2 cards, I'll put them on the bottom,
Mhm. It's true. Still unimpressed with this card. They could have done
Oh,
more.
sweet. Illusionary Armor?
Illusionary Armor, 5 mana, uncommon. Enchanted
Oh.
creature gets +4/+4.
I think 5 mana is a little expensive.
When
for
an
that.
enchanted creature becomes target of a spell or ability, sacrifice Illusionary Armor. Yeah, it is a little bit overpriced. I'd like it at 4.
Yeah.
like a
I think at 3 it would be
yeah,
actually exactly where it should be.
because Divine Transformation in white was
4 mana.
+3/+3
Yeah, no questions asked. And Moldavine Cloak is +3/+3
for 3.
for 3 with Dredge.
Hmm. So this could have been 3 with the disability, I think.
Yeah. That one they play it really safe on.
They did.
I
That's
don't
kind of
like
strange.
that, yeah. Unless there's a lot of hexproof in here, but
The
I haven't
I
seen
mean,
it.
the
The concept is
yeah,
so sweet, but
yeah, it is.
see they've printed
The picture is cool
yeah,
too, because
yeah.
it's like a guy, and he's just standing there in a pose, and then you see this like ethereal, well, illusionary armor
Yeah.
over top of him, and it's like in holding the same pose that he is.
It's sweet.
It
yeah.
is cool.
Conceptually it's a really great card. And I'm sure in limited it's gonna be an awesome card, but
I mean, a lot of the
only
times, yeah.
+4/+4 for 5, and it has a disability. It just doesn't make sense.
If the creature is getting targeted with a removal spell, it's most likely dead anyway.
Right.
So you're going to lose the illusionary armor. So it does kind of make sense that it's not like the worst disability ever. But if you have creatures, if you're playing against creatures that have tap down abilities or anything like that, or permanents,
Yeah.
if you have anything on board, say you have activated abilities that target creatures you control, then illusionary armor is going to be pretty bad.
Yeah, I feel really strongly that they could have done this at 3 mana.
I think so too. Frostbreath's coming back. Essence Scatter. Disperse. That was from Scar's Block, right?
Yeah, originally Morningtide, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. And what do you think about Disperse? 2 mana, return target non-land permanent.
Cyclonic Rift's better, but
You're right. Rift's going to be in standard at the same time too for a long
I'd
time.
much rather
So
play Rift.
yeah, there's actually no reason to not. There's absolutely no reason to not play Rift.
And I think Rift is probably a really great card post rotation too, but I'm not sure.
Could be. It's not. Has it seen any real constructive
really.
play at all? I think in block it was doing something in those Esper control lists, is like maybe a one of.
Some sort of pseudo wog at times,
Yeah.
or like
Stops
just a
tokens.
tempo. Yeah, that's true.
Straight up like token wog.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to have as a one of.
Mind Seeker we talked about.
Jace's Mind Seeker, yeah. Card is cool. Opportunity, I think we talked about that.
Yeah. What's the art on Opportunity? Pretty sure we've seen that. Oh yeah.
That's right, the woman with the ocean on her head. Messenger Drake, we didn't talk about this, I don't think. 5 mana, 3/3 flyer. When it dies, draw a card. There's something similar to this from Shard's Block, or Alara Reborn.
Messenger Falcon.
Yeah.
That's when it comes into play though.
Interesting how similar their names are. I wonder what they had in mind.
I wonder what the theme is. No, but
yeah, Messenger Falcons was 2 and then a hybrid blue or green and then a white, and it was a 2/2 flyer. Comes in, draws a card. When it comes in, draws a card is significantly better than Messenger Drake.
yeah.
But
It's
this
funny
is a
that they
3/3.
decided
Yeah,
to
but
do it like that.
I mean, this one's a 3/3. Well, there were other cards like this then too. What about what's the one from the Scars Block one? You draw discard. Each player draws discards.
Oh, Sky Eel School.
Yeah, there's that. So
so they would have
they've done all sorts
straight
of
up trump this if they made it just draw a card when it comes in.
That's true. It would have been better than this.
Yeah.
But
I still think it would have been fine.
Yeah, I don't think it. I mean, I wouldn't have complained about it too much, but it still would have been. Actually, it still would have been pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually right on par with Muldrifter probably at that cost and stuff because it's 1 less power toughness for Muldrifter and you draw 2.
I almost feel like we should change a card from the block we're making or the set we're making. The
Series one.
The birds here,
Yeah.
the 2/2 flyer. Make that one draw a discard. That would be kind of cool because you can do it in blue, straight blue, I think, right?
Yeah.
So Messenger Drake should be interesting. I feel like it's a good limited card. 5 mana, 3/3 flyers, pretty strong. Phantom Warrior, 3 mana, 2/2, can't be blocked. So new wording. Creatures used to say, card name is unblockable.
But I feel like the reason that they changed this is fine because everything else that specifies what it can be blocked by or it can't be blocked except by, it's worded that way. This creature can't be blocked except by.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
sort of the is unblockable was different than
Was the one that was different,
Yeah.
and it was saying the same thing as can't be blocked. So why not just say can't be blocked, you know, and bring them all together?
what's the first unblockable creature?
Phantom Warrior is.
Phantom Warrior, really? The
Mhm.
first unblockable creature.
The Weatherlight printing.
It's kind of cool.
hmm
Wow, the old school art too. Look at that.
hmm
It's like, is that like an Asian dude or something? Maybe not. I don't know.
Just a sailor guy.
Sailor, and he's got like a cutlass.
The Phantom Warrior is just walking right through him.
Yeah, he is. But it looks like you can see him.
He can totally see him. That's why he was ready to defend himself. That's why he's spooked also that he's going right through him.
Phantom Warrior don't care.
Yeah.
Fish,
Phantom Warrior don't
fish tails
bullshit.
infest the water and mists walk the land. Give me simple solid rock any day.
I guess he's not a dog.
Oh, that's kind of cool. So Phantom Warrior coming back. You know, I always did like this card.
Yeah. I feel like it's
Unblockable is cool.
Yeah.
Keymaster Rogue is like the current one in full Return of Ravnica block. And it's good.
Yeah, he's a game ender, that's for sure.
Show is.
Show it.
Uh,
Seacoast Drake. I was pretty excited about that one.
2 mana 1/3 flyer. That's really good.
For
That's
blue, it's really strong.
It is. You typically blue as the like in core set is like Maritime Guard.
hmm
You know, where it's like just the 2 mana 1/3
Yeah.
creature. This full on has flying, which makes it a
Yeah.
good
This one's like
the
better than Stormcrow, you know.
yeah, definitely.
So
Don't say that though.
I'm just saying.
We're gonna get so much backlash for that.
I'm trying to
Stormcrow is better than
Yeah,
Seacoast.
relax, everybody. I didn't mean it. I was trying to compare it, and I went too far.
Yeah, but this card will be really good in limited. Seacoast Drake looks like it's an excellent limited card. Great blocker. Any sort of, you know, flyer strategy. There's a lot of like 2/1 Welcome turn style effects. You know, typically. What do we got right now? I guess. Well, I guess they don't really have that many flyers. Just the Air Servant spoil, but I mean he's huge.
Well, Warden of Evil style, Trained Condor, they're all coming up. It looks like.
Oh, okay. Time Ebb is a reprint.
Yeah.
3 mana, put target creature on top of its owner's library. You know, that's kind of interesting. That feels like a good price for that. When you're used to, okay, Innistrad had Grasp of, why can't I think of that?
Grasp of Phantoms, or
Yeah, it is. Grasp of Phantoms. And that was 4 mana, put it on top of its owner's library, and flashback for 8. And that was a really good card. I feel like Time Ebb is going to be a really good limited card then. At
Yeah,
just
it is.
3 mana. I mean, you don't get the flashback, but still.
it's like what is that white card too?
From Shards block?
Yeah,
What is?
Excommunicate.
Yeah. Or was that also in core set too? Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was.
So it's kind of weird. It looks like they shifted it to blue this
They
time around.
or
Or
I think
just
it's
in the
both.
just in the
It's
core
in
set.
both of
Yeah.
theirs.
Like I'm definitely not saying it's not in those color pies. Just they've been doing.
Oh yeah, they feel,
Actually, they haven't had excommunicating
Oh,
core
wow.
since M11.
but it's been in 2 core sets. Like that's really crazy. It felt fine in white too. I was totally okay with it there.
Let's see how long it's been since Time Ebb.
This may have been a while.
Ninth edition.
Yeah.
It was in Tempest. It was in Starter 1999. Funny. Starter 2000. Portal Second Age. I feel like it's better than.
That's the art they're gonna use again.
It's crazy. Alan
Rabinowitz's.
art for it. Is that like a grizzly bear?
Yeah, it looks like it. Just being washed away.
He's getting Time Ebbed.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah, that card's gonna be good and limited. That's actually. Oh, that sounds like it'd be really bad news bears for your opponent with Archaeomancer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That'd be so annoying.
You like turns, huh?
And it's in the turn progression
Yeah.
too. It's like Time Ebb. Okay, play it again. Archaeomancer.
I guess I'll swing at you with it.
Yeah.
Same, man.
Trained Condor. Oh, we saw this one already. Good. Warden of Evocile. 3 mana, 2/2 flyer. Creatures spells with flying you cast. Maybe we did mention this one already, but this card's good.
Yeah, that card's really good. Windrake plus
If you're doing that,
cheapen your Windrake.
flyer strategy. Typically, what are all the colors that have flyers typically? Like white can have them.
White, blue, black usually get them, and sometimes red gets them at uncommon and rare. Usually not at common, but sometimes.
Yeah,
Very limited.
that's right. Water Servant's coming back. This creature's like really good actually. It's a 2/2 blue 3/4, and you pay a blue and it gets +1/-1 until in return, or -1/+1. So it's
It's got like the morphling abilities.
Mhm.
Those two.
well, for blue too. It's like a well-costed creature.
It is very strong. Like
feel good
better than
about
a
it.
hill giant,
hmm
and kills hill giants even.
So Water Servant, excellent limited card. Accursed Spirit. I don't think we saw this one. This is kind of cool. It's 4 mana, 3/2 Intimidate.
Is that a spectral axe it's carrying?
I actually think this card's not so bad. I think it's fine. Is
Yeah,
that the
I like
same price as what I think it is, as what the red Blade Tusk board?
Yeah, it is.
So it's like a black Blade Tusk board now. Totally. I kind of like it more in red.
I like it
I
more
don't
in
know
red
why.
too.
I don't know why.
Because red shouldn't necessarily get like flying at common, so it feels like a good way to
Evasion,
give
that's
evasion
true.
to red.
Red typically doesn't get that kind of good evasion.
Yeah, and
but
you're-
Accursed Spirit, I mean, black cards have had fear in the beginning.
So
That was
it's-
originally when they wrote, they keyworded it fear. I guess it just didn't make sense to call it fear.
It was fear because it was always only black creatures and artifact creatures could block it. That's why it was fear.
It really should have been feared. Not like, because
it's
it
no,
sounds like it's afraid when
Yeah,
you say
you're
it's
right.
fear. If it was like feared or something, then it's like,
it should've
oh,
just
the
been
others.
frightening is what it should have been.
I guess. Any way you look at it, they just ended up changing it to intimidate.
It works a lot better.
Yeah, because other colors can play that keyword now, and feared. Well, feared I feel like would have worked in any color combination, but feared didn't sound
Feared.
right in any other color. Like a red card that had fear would just be weird. But I feel like if you just change it to fear.
Feared actually, it makes sense, but it still sounds like it should be on black creatures.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Child of Night's coming back. Corpse Hauler, 2 mana, 2/1 rogue, human rogue. Sacrifice Corpse Hauler, return another target creature card from the graveyard to your hand. This is actually a pretty decent card. I feel like that's fine and limited because it's a little bear too.
Yeah.
Usually, I mean, the biggest problem people had with, or that I think people would have with like Gravedigger, was that it's like 4 mana. But this, you can at least do it early, and then later, if you need to get back a badass creature, you can just sack it, and you can do it on their turn. You can like block sack too if you have to. It's a good chump plus like get an ability later too. I feel like this is a really good card.
That cockatrice.
It goes infinite with itself too.
With another one.
Yeah, which is cool because
For
that means
5 mana, you have the potential with 2 of them to just always block at least 1 creature each turn.
and the fact that they're 2/1s is important for that. So they're not even like necessarily a bad chumper.
Well, they're not going to deal damage if you're sacrificing them to get back your other creature.
Yeah, that's true. But if you have like 3 or 4 corpse haulers in your deck,
Yeah. If you have plenty of corpse haulers in your deck,
because they're commons, I feel
Yeah.
like you could end up with like 3 of them or 4 of them or something. So you could do some cool stuff.
corpse hauler aggro.
You could.
Yeah,
It's efficient for black.
it is.
Corrupt, 6 mana.
Glad to see
This is a
that.
reprint. Yeah, Corrupt
Yeah.
deals damage equal to the number of swamps you control the target creature or player. You gain life equal to the damage dealt this way. It's going to be pretty unexciting just because, I mean, Shocklands at least still maintain their swamp land type. So that's cool. But it's been a while since Corrupt's been good in Standard. It's probably not since the, like, I don't even know what days. I mean, the mono black days that I can't even remember the last mono black days. It's been a long time.
Did you see they brought Doomblade back at Uncommon?
That's interesting.
I do feel like it was really strong in a core set at Common. Because there's 4, like,
Hmm.
colors that you can hit with it. It's not like Ultimate Price, where that probably could have been,
Well,
justified at Uncommon, or at Common.
well, it's just interesting because it's been printed for a long time at Common. M10, M11, M12, and I guess it was in Commander too. But the last, it wasn't in M13, but the 3 core sets before that, it's been
But didn't
Common.
Murder feel a lot more fair for creature removal in Limited?
In Limited, yeah.
In core set? And it's like, the uncommon factor isn't going to change the value of Doomblade, in my opinion.
No. People have their Doomblades already.
Yeah, they should. And if they don't, it's just one of those cards that they're gonna reprint.
I feel
over
like
and over.
I feel like printing Oblivion Ring at Uncommon actually did affect the
Mhm.
price of the card.
Definitely.
And Rancor too.
But they started bringing Oblivion Ring up to uncommon in core set, like the past 2. I think they thought that it was still fair at common in expansion sets.
Originally Lorwyn, Shards. It's been in just
The other
tons
thing
of
about
other sets, and then it was uncommon when it was in core sets.
the other thing about
Common and block.
expansions is that you don't necessarily, toward the end, you don't get the full 3 of that expansion or whatever. So it's okay to print those kind of good cards, or good solid basic removal spells at common, because eventually the format will just filter itself out. You'll only get really one chance to get them,
Mhm.
and you won't have more than 1 or 2 in your deck.
Yeah, that's true. Like you, I don't really care about Doomblade being moved to uncommon. It's just it's interesting to see that they made that decision. That they're like, let's make it more rare. Good
I think it's
removal.
fine because it is very good removal in limited, and if the only reason they changed it was because it's, dude, playing against the 4 Doomblade deck in limited is like,
Really annoying.
yeah, it's very annoying. It's like I can't land a single creature. If all that does is make that deck very hard to get, then that's fine. You're getting 3 packs of the core set to open yourself. That means every pack in the draft is core set. So when Doomblade was common, you of course saw a million Doomblades.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think at least probably 2 or 3 out of each draft set that you were opening or whatever. I mean, not yours, but each pack.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but getting 4 of them, yeah, playing against a deck that had 4 Doomblades would be insane. It'd be horrible. And it was horrible. But I've also played Doomblade in Limited where you play against another black deck, and it's come up short.
Yeah, that's true too.
But yeah, I mean, I'm thinking more like standard constructed. It's coming back. I think that's gonna be.
I think that's really cool that they're bringing it back.
Yeah, and it's alongside like Far and Away and stuff like that.
It might be a little less relevant for a while people are still playing their Ravnica decks.
Hits Huntmaster.
Mm.
Hits Restoration Angel. Hits Thragtusk.
Yeah, so in the immediate standard, it's very good. But once Theros comes in, who knows
how good it'll be.
Yeah,
it's true. Duneblade usually sees constructed play. I can't think of a time it was in constructed where it wasn't seeing some play.
Yeah.
I guess during the Jace era it wasn't seeing any play because everyone was playing Caw-Blade, but
yeah, who needed to play it then?
That's true.
What could you kill?
That was one that didn't. Okay. Grim Return. Yeah, we talked about that one. Liliana's Reaver will be good and limited. I still don't think it's constructed playable. 4 drops, just too clunky. It's cool though. I wish it was, but it's not. Mark the Vampire. That's cool. So this was in core set before. This has proven itself to be a really amazing aura.
I like this one a lot.
4 mana enchanted creature goes +2/+2 and has lifelink. Like that on a Phantom Warrior, really good. That on that First Striker in white that pumps itself is really good.
Yeah.
3/3 lifelink First Strike. That'd be cool. First Strike lifelink. Whatever order it is. Minotaur Abomination. Yeah, I think we saw that too. Nightwing Shade. We didn't see this.
It's a reprint.
Yeah, 5 mana, 2/2, 1 and a black. It gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
Died to that before.
Yeah, I don't really like it all that much. It's okay.
Of like the shades, it's probably the worst, but still, evasion
playable.
and pump is really strong together.
It's very pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, every aspect of it is pricey. Getting it on the board is pricey. Pumping it is pricey. At least Perilous Mirror was +2/+2, and it was 1 cheaper, and it had higher
Yeah.
toughness. It
With
didn't
enough
evade
removal,
them.
though, I don't know.
I think Perilous Shadows. Well, this is also less color intensive, so they did a pretty good job balancing it, I guess. Singer Vampire's coming back. That's cool. Undead Minotaur, 3 mana, 2/3. Zombie Minotaur. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Ring Flesh. Always kind of like that card. It's a good limited trick.
Yeah, it is. What's Vampire Warlord?
Vampire
Oh,
Warlord is a 5 mana, 4/2 Vampire Warrior. Sacrifice another creature, regenerate him. It's pretty cool. Little sack outlet.
A little expensive at 5.
First
but
card
still
in
good.
first card in red that we see is Act of Treason.
I love
So
that card.
I always love doing the Act of Treason with a sack outlet. Getting that in limited with like Bloodthrone
There's
Vamp
your
or
sack
something.
outlet right there.
Yeah, totally. With Bloodthrone Vamp before, it was really good. How do you feel? Which one's your favorite steel creature effect right now in standard? Would you say, because we got like Active Treason, we got Traitorous Instinct, Mark of Mutiny.
I like Act, I guess, the most because,
And we have Traitorous Blood too.
yeah.
There's a
Oh,
lot.
Traitorous Blood is really good too
There's a lot of steel effects.
because it's trample.
Yep, that can be relevant. I mean, usually is relevant.
I think that one's probably the best then.
It's also the most color intensive too, which I do think takes away from it.
A little bit, but it depends, I
I
guess.
guess it depends on what kind of deck you're playing. If you're playing
Yeah.
mono red, it doesn't make any difference. But
Or even if you're two color, you most likely can get double red off the many dual lands we have in standard right now.
Ooh, Canyon Minotaur is coming back. My favorite. Hill Giant. Why did they get rid of the Hill Giant?
Giant?
Yeah,
I don't know.
kind of like Hill Giant.
I think they're actually really pushing Minotaurs because I really think that it's going to be a tribe in Theros.
Ooh, yeah. That one actually. Good point. That one makes sense.
Because they had 2 zombie Minotaurs in a core set.
Yeah, you're right. And
when did you even ever see a zombie Minotaur?
I don't know. Let's find out. Have they ever done it before? That's the question. I'm not sure they have.
I don't think they have either. Yeah.
No.
Didn't think so.
Interesting.
So, I think that's all it is. But they haven't printed Hill Giant in a while. Maybe they think that Giants should be greater than 3/3. But that can't be right, because Countryside Crusher is 3/3.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like Giants in general. But you're right. They're totally going to do a Minotaur sort of theme in Theros. How could they not?
Mm-hmm.
Burning Earth. That one's the new Mana Barbs.
Yeah.
Chandra's Outrage. I always like that card.
Yeah.
It's really good red removal
Mhm.
or just a trick, whatever. It's not a trick. It's straight up good removal. 2 mana and 2 red, so 4 mana. Instant deals 4 damage to target creature, 2 damage to that creature's controller. Really powerful and limited. I love that it burns the opponent too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's kind of like Searing Blaze, but a little bit different.
I really like it.
Chandra's Phoenix, mentioned that already, I think, coming back, but I don't know. Maybe Red Deck wins. Could play it, possibly.
Maybe.
We'll see. Flames of the Firebrand coming back. Dragon Hatchling. What's Flesh Pulper Giant? This card's kind of cool. 7 mana, 4/4 uncommon. When it enters the battlefield, you may destroy target creature with toughness 2 or less. What do you think? Seems a little bit pricey, doesn't it?
It's super pricey. Could have been 5/5.
Could have been 6 mana, too.
Or that. Either one of those changes would have been acceptable.
Yeah. I guess I would have liked 5/5 more because he looks like he's probably a 5/5.
Huge. Yeah.
Otherwise, just about to stomp a 2 toughness creature.
Stop a gob.
Yes. How does this goblin not have any idea that
Yeah,
there's
I
an
know.
enormous giant?
No. You gotta figure it's gotta
He's like,
come
he must be
down.
over here.
Yeah.
Well, this goblin had it coming.
No kidding.
He doesn't hate small folk. He just likes the squishing sound they make. Flesh pulper. He doesn't sound like a very nice giant.
No, he does not. But he doesn't hate small folk. Remember that.
Yeah, it is interesting. Doesn't hate him.
Just likes the squishing sound they make.
He just needs like they need to get that guy something else to squish.
Yeah,
Like, just
exactly.
like
Pigs. Just give him a pig farm.
yeah. Well, he'd go through that pretty quick.
Yeah. One a day.
Did we? Yeah, I think we already
Yeah.
looked at Goblin Diplomats. Shortcutter. I always like this card.
Yeah.
It's like a little. It's not. It's like a pseudo Azorius Arrestor, but
Mhm.
because it's in red, it feels like it's better. But
Yeah.
it's 2 mana, 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, target creature can't block this turn. It can add up. If you're aggressive enough, it can totally add up. Lava Axe coming back. How do you feel about Lava Axe in limited? It's pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's cool.
Explosive Impact is just so much better for 1 more mana, I think.
I agree. What's Lightning Talon's picture look like?
Lightning Talons. This is a reprint too, isn't it?
Yeah. I like the flavor text.
There's probably some way to rotate. I just don't know how to.
Inspect element.
Whatever. Screw it. But it's 3 mana. Enchant creature has +3/+0 and has first strike. I like Madcap skills more, but +3/+0 and first strike is very good. I could see that putting that on a Phantom Warrior as well. Very good. Any flyer.
Anything with Phantom Warrior, it looks like it's looking pretty good.
Yeah. As long as it buffs. What else we got here? Regathan Firecat. We talked about that, but I kind of like this card. 4/1. I feel like that's going to be pretty playable. Ooh, Pitchburn Devils. They're bringing a lot of Innistrad cards in. Did you notice?
Fine.
Did you notice that?
Pitchburn Devils was always a good limited card anyway.
5 mana, 3/3 Devil. And when it dies, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. Yeah, I really like that card. Feel like it does do a lot of work in limited. A lot of and like at a certain point they can't even do anything about it anymore because they're at 3 life.
Yeah, it is like
It can
such
be
a pain in
crazy.
the ass.
Yeah, it's not bad with a sack outlet either. Scourge of Valkus. I think we saw
I
this.
saw that, yeah.
It's cool mythic though. Shock. Thorncaster Sliver. Thunderstrike. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains first strike until end turn. Okay, so it looks like they wanted to upgrade on the Kindled Fury since they have Weapon Surge, I guess, already in standard, and that's just such a strict upgrade.
Yeah. Thunderstrike is good. That's a
Thunderstrike
reprint.
seems. Oh, okay. What was that originally from?
Core set.
It's always been in a core set.
I feel like it's Thunder Fist Strike, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah.
Originally from M11. Think they're gonna use the same picture.
Hopefully.
Volcanic Geyser. This card's kind of funny. It actually feels clunky because it's 2 red X, even though it is an instant, so it's it's better. But just the fact that it costs 1 more makes it worse in that regard.
Yeah.
And overall worse, I think, because you'd rather just play like a Fireball.
Right.
But Fireball was just I think, so much more insane in Limited that I'm okay with this. Because Volcanic Geyser is still playable in Limited. It's just not as good.
It's a little bit of a letdown.
Disappointing. Advocate of the Beast.
Saw that.
Okay. Deadly Recluse. We didn't see that, maybe. 2 mana, 1/2, Reach, Death Touch.
It's
Coming
cool. I
back.
like that card a lot.
Yeah,
I'm
this has definitely
really
been
happy to see it again.
This has been around for a while.
Since M10 and then didn't come back until last year.
M10, M13, Commander. Yeah, Deadly Recluse is amazing, actually. You can draft you can draft like infinite Deadly Recluses and be happy. It's a really strong green creature. Buffing that with like Kindled Fury, or not Kindled Fury.
Thunderstrike?
Yeah. No.
Lightning Talons?
Lightning Talons. The one that we just looked at. That would be insane on him. Can't do much about that.
Mm-mm.
Love that first strike death touch.
Such a good combination. It's a deadly combination.
It is. Garrick's Horde, cool. Hunt the Weak. Yeah, that one's that one's good. Did we see Into the Wilds?
Mm-mm. Well, maybe we have.
But let's talk about it again. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the bet.
We haven't talked about it, but it's a really great card.
I do think that card's good. In limited, I think that card's actually really good. It's a little bit clunky.
It's not bad.
But if you can resolve it early, I really think you're getting some
If
good
you get
value
it
out of
turn
it.
3, 4, 5, even 6, it's fine. I wouldn't even mind playing it on turn 6, as long as
It's
it
cool
was
that it
getting me more land.
Straight ramps you too.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess late game it doesn't matter because maybe you'd get it in your hand and play it anyway. But I guess the cool thing is, if you're top decking and you Into the Wilds get a land, and even if you draw another land, at least you can play it, right?
Yeah.
So you still dub land.
Yeah, it's like
and get filtered
strictly an
through 2
upgrade
cards.
to Rowan, because it's very much like Rowan.
Rowan. Reveal the first card you draw each turn. Whenever you reveal a basic land card this way, draw a card. And that, yeah, you're right. You have to reveal every
have to
turn.
reveal
I'm gonna
it.
get some water. Water, 1 second.
You have to reveal it, and you don't even put it onto the battlefield. You draw an additional card. So if you draw 2 lands,
You
then
only get to play.
you only get to play 1.
Yeah.
The other thing, it has to be a basic land. You know, cost 2 green. Everything about this card is like strictly worse than
That's
Into
weird.
the Wilds.
They actually made it basic land too.
Yeah, it was like super restrictive.
Yeah, why did they
And
do
at
that?
4 mana, it's just
They
what's
were-
the problem?
I think
It
they
was
were
from
just
Visions.
okay.
So
They were just being ultra careful with it.
Yeah.
I think a little too careful. The first sentence is a continuous ability. You reveal the card when you draw it during the resolution of any draw effect. Second sentence is a triggered ability, and thus will wait until the
Wow.
entire draw effect finishes resolving before you do it.
there you go.
I see. I like old art.
Mhm.
God, I like old art. Clonian Tusker. Yeah, we saw this last time. I'm excited for this card. I think I like it more than Garrick's. We said this last time too. We like it more than Garrick's Companion. I think I'd rather
The
just have
3
it.
toughness is so much more relevant.
Tusker is going to be awesome in
Mhm.
limited. I feel like he can just a green stompy deck really get a lot of benefit from that.
Mhm.
What else we got? What's Primeval Bounty? Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a 3/3 green beast creature token onto the battlefield. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 3/+1/+1 counters on target creature you control. Yeah, we did see this card. This card's really good though. This is gonna be sick and limited. Basically,
So
anything you're doing is getting you some sort of reward.
are they doing like a mythic cycle of Planeswalker cards too, based on the Planeswalkers? Because they had the Dark Realms one too, that raises all creatures from graveyards under your control.
Oh, in black?
Hmm
I didn't realize that. So you're saying how are they? These are like Planeswalker cards? Is that what you're
Well, I don't know. It just seems like it could be related to Garrick to me, but
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. It's like the ability that was on the original Planeswalkers.
kind of.
Similar abilities to the original Planeswalkers. I'm not sure. Like that card a lot in limited. Root Wall is coming back. 3 mana, 2/2, and then you pay 1 and a green. It gets +2/+2 until the turn.
Should have
So
just done Dark Thicket Wolf.
you're right. They could have. They were like, we already brought too many Innistrad cards.
Yeah.
Rumbling Baloth, 4 mana, 4/4.
That's sweet.
Savage Summoning. Kind of cool. Scavenging Ooze. This one is the one everyone's excited for. And it works, as... It's a good
It's nice
creature.
to put
It's
it
cool.
in modern too. I think that's probably
Yeah.
where it's mostly relevant now.
Hmm. That's a good point, and that needs to be mentioned because now you got to Tarmogoyf at least is in check a little bit more. That's a card that kind of at least is a good trump for Tarmogoyf in Legacy. So it'll be interesting to see how much better it is in Modern against it or for it, or if it's just as good against it. Spore Mound, 5 mana, 3/3 fungus. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 green sapperling creature token on the battlefield. That's a good card. I like it. Getting little tokens. Woodborn Behemoth, 5 mana, 4/4 uncommon. As long as you control 8 or more lands, +4/+4 and trample. It's kind of cool. Gets crazy. Turns into force of nature.
It's sweet.
The new Hydra sucks.
It's not terrible. It just
I'm
doesn't get
unexcited by
bigger.
it. 2 green and X, 0/0 Hydra, and it enters with X +1/+1 counters on it. And when it dies, you may distribute a number of +1/+1 counters equal to the number on him among any number of creatures you control.
They're so like afraid to show the backside of a Hydra.
Why is that?
I think because they
it's
just
ugly.
don't know how it looks.
Yeah, what does the back of a Hydra look like? That's a good question. Probably just like a mound of flesh.
You would think it would have to have a tail or some sort of mobility. You
So
know,
it's got some little stub feet.
you could either have like dragon-like body, I suppose, or I don't know. See, that is the thing about Hydras. It's like, what do they look like?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
What's Guardian of the Ages? 7 mana, 7/7 defender. Whenever a creature attacks you or planeswalker you control, if it has defender, it loses defender and gains trample. We did talk about that one last time, but still, that's a good limited card, even though it is 7 mana. I feel like that's actually fairly difficult to play because it's pretty restrictive since it's 7 mana.
Green would have probably no problem playing it. They have Elvish Mystic at common, and I swear they had something else already.
Sliver Construct.
Creature type, Sliver Construct.
And that's about it for those
Can I
spoilers.
complain about writing up 3 wishes a little more?
Yeah, go ahead. Alright, so let's read it first. 5 mana mythic artifact. It enters the battlefield with 3 wish counters on it. And then it's 5 tap, remove a wish counter from Ring of 3 Wishes, search your library for a card, put that card in your hand, shuffle your library.
No. Cast for free. Cast without paying its mana cost. Why am I investing 10 mana into this thing? Let alone 15 or 20. If all I'm doing is searching for something, you know? And I only get 3 searches?
And why is it mythic?
Yeah, why didn't you just upgrade Planar Portal then to 5 mana, 5 to activate, you know?
Yeah.
And make it a mythic.
And Planar Portal, what was the exact wording on Planar Portal?
It's Diabolic Tutor for 6.
You gotta invest 12 total to get this online.
Yeah,
so
but
this
it
is
doesn't-
one cheaper on each end, but you only get...
You only get 3 chances. But I guess
That's probably
I see
all you
why.
need.
Yeah, that's why. But in EDH, you can use a Planar Portal like several turns in a row, you know?
That card sounds so annoying.
It is annoying in EDH,
yeah.
but, you know, you can use it over and over and over, and I don't feel like I'm going to be searching for a Ring of 3 Wishes very hard because I can only use it 3 times. That's all.
Okay. Alright.
All right.
Well, let's check out some more Modern Master spoilers. 'Cause it's all out now. It's not spoilers anymore since it's out.
We should actually only look at the commons and uncommons since we already had all the rares and mythics.
Yeah, you're right. So we can take a look at some of these commons and uncommons. Got Amaru Scout, 2 mana, 2/1, 4 tap, search your library for a rebel card. It looks like they have, there's a little bit of a rebel theme going
There
on.
totally is. Because they printed the Black Rebel. I think 2 of them.
Amaru Seekers, the very next card's a rebel, 3 mana, 2/2 with can't be blocked except by artifact creatures or wait.
Why didn't they just give it Intimidate?
It must be. They just did the old word.
No.
They just did the old wording on it. It's got to be Intimidate.
No, dude, because the spoiler's out. Let's go to MTG, our Magic the Gathering main page.
Well, they already have Modern Master spoiler or stuff
So
up
we
on
can
here,
see the...
so we can just check it out and see if they
Just
have.
go to the main page, though. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, totally. They didn't do
They didn't
Intimidate.
update to Intimidate. I wonder why they didn't want it.
That is
It's
really
because
strange.
they didn't want to reverse keyword stuff. The same reason that they don't reverse keyword lifelink. Because it isn't lifelink or whatever.
Someone in the comments already mentioned it. Wizards still could have chosen to just replace this with Intimidate, carve whatever runes they need to into Oracle, and just say, this is how it is now and will be evermore. Though it was different before. Yeah. It does feel a little bit strange without Intimidate. Angel, no, I did that. Avian Changeling, 3 mana, 2/2 flyer with Changeling. It was always good for tribal. And actually, that's kind of cool with Amur's Scout. You can search up Avian Changeling with Amur's Scout, right? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can. What I'm wondering is if you can't interact with like Intimidate because it's shares a creature type or a color with this creature, you know, and that specifically calls out white.
Oh, I
So
see.
you can
So it is technically different.
Yeah, so you can change the color of Amur Seekers and not have it affect its ability, or you can actually mind bend Amur Seekers and change its ability. So there's two ways to interact with it, whereas Intimidate, the only way to interact with it is changing the color of the creature itself.
I mean, it's pretty specific, but it is a difference.
Yeah. So
They didn't necessarily. They still could have changed it to Intimidate and just changed the ruling on that card.
they could have, but then they'd have to go and like do that to everything else that was the same way. Where when you spell it out like that, it isn't. You know, fear is always black creatures. So that one you can reverse add to cards. But this one is not a keyword, specifically calls out a color other than black. So functionally, yes, it is Intimidate, but if the color of that creature were to change, its ability would not change.
Blinding Beam, 2 and a white instant. Choose one, tap 2 target creatures, or creatures don't untap during target player's next untap step, and then entwine for 1. So 4 mana, tap 2 creatures, and they don't untap during their player's next untap step. It's actually pretty good for white. Was that in Mirrodin originally?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a really great, kind of like a permafrost trap from Zendikar.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, Worldwake, I guess that
You don't get the, I mean, it's a little bit different than like Frost Breath from Corset or whatever, because you don't get to like draw a card too.
Well, this also, Frost Breath doesn't draw you a card.
What's the one I'm thinking of? That Crippling Chill.
Chill, but that one's only one creature too.
Yeah, so you get twice the creatures.
But this one can also be played post-combat
Mm-hmm.
against 2 creatures that came into play this turn.
Oh, that's a
and
good point. So you
their
can choose
other
that
creatures don't untap.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I bet people don't think about that. Most often you just think, oh, I'm going to tap 2 creatures with this. That's yeah, making stuff not on tap is relevant. Bound in Silence. Wait, I didn't know they were going to bring back Tribal. I guess because it's just a reprint.
Yeah,
it
it's a
doesn't matter.
reprint. Yep.
All
They're
right.
not redoing it ever again.
Yeah.
Or at this point, they say they're not going to redo
Okay.
it.
Maybe they just need to figure it out a little better. They don't need to write it off that much, you know. They just need to sort of think about.
It's too hard to do it and not make it evergreen, and I think that's the big problem with it. You know,
But
you can have a tribal block, but it shouldn't have tribal card types in it.
Okay.
That's I think what they're going for.
If people don't know what we're talking about, starting in Lorwyn block, I believe, right?
Yeah.
They got something tribal. Actually, I guess Future Sight technically.
Future Sight spoiled Bound in Silence and maybe one other card.
They had one card. There was one tribal.
It was just Bound in Silence then.
Okay.
So you could, because it counted as a rebel in addition to being like an enchantment aura, it also counted as a rebel. So cards that called out rebel permanent card or whatever from your deck, so any of the rebel search effects could go search up Bound in Silence. So it had a good application there. The problem with tribal though is that if it's not evergreen, then it's not getting put on cards that really need it. Like Feast and Blood is probably the best example I can think of. where it specifically says tap 2, or you can't even cast this card unless you have vampires on the battlefield,
Mm-hmm.
and then destroy target creature and you gain 4 life. It's like, it's clearly a tribal vampire card, you know, and when you don't have that same thing going on, and yet later in the block you print tribal Eldrazi cards.
Yeah, it's like more work on their end that they would
Yeah.
have to do to figure out associating tribes with
Mhm.
random permanents. That's a good point. But anyway, Bounded Silence is 3 mana pacifism. It's basically a 3 mana pacifism,
Yeah.
but it's also tribal rebel, so works with the Amaru Scout that we talked about earlier, which is kind of cool actually because you
Yeah.
get to put it on the battlefield, so you can even like
Yeah.
you can attach
and
it.
it doesn't even target
Yep.
when you do it that way. So
That's
you
really
can
sick. You can attach it
Shroud
to
or
hexproof. Amazing, very good. There's
Mhm.
not a lot of ways to do that.
Mhm.
Another
Printed
one.
at common in this set too. It was uncommon originally, so
Another cool one that did that was Venser, the Sojourner,
yep.
where he could take like I'm trying to think of the auras at that time, but he could do it and then you
Yeah.
could blink it and then put it on a hexproof creature.
It wasn't like Bound in Silence or anything.
Maybe it
like
was just
that.
pacifism. Could have just been pacifism.
Pacifism's fine. It does not work that way for Oblivion Ring though to blink because you have to retarget when it comes out. So,
Good call, but it does work well.
but
with
on
just
auras, whenever
yeah.
you put an aura on the battlefield,
You're
you
attaching it.
automatically attach it to something it could enchant after it comes out onto the battlefield.
That's a probably lesser known ruling as well. Sin's Enlistment, 4 mana, sorcery, put 2 1/1 white Kithkin soldier creature tokens on
I
the
always
battlefield.
like this one.
Retrace. Yeah, this feels like it's really good and limited because it just Retrace was always so great for like not punishing you for the flood
Mm-hmm.
late game, having something
Retrace
to do
was such a nice ability to have. It was
in
just
limited.
that nice, yeah.
Fantastic. Nothing more annoying than drawing your 13th land. So
God, and it is so annoying.
So once you get to like 7 lands, at least you can start getting
Start
some
pitching 'em,
Kithkins.
yeah. Cloud Goat we talked about before.
Court Homunculus we did too. Dispeller's Capsule. Because there's a little mini artifact theme, right? There.
I think they're either 2 or I think it's just 2 color themes. So like the white black one is probably tokens and rebels, and then the white blue one is artifacts. I don't know what the green or red white version would be, but probably something similar. Oh, white and red is giants, and can't think of what white and green would be. Probably just creatures. That's always a good one.
What do you think of what do you like the capsules in general? The couriers and the dispellers.
I like executioners and couriers. Yeah, dispellers less useful.
A little limited, but
and a little more expensive than what I would be willing to pay for it normally.
Yeah, that's a good point. It should have been 1 and then 2.
Yeah, there's no reason this couldn't have been a disenchant.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting actually.
I
guess because
in Shards block it was probably too good at disenchant. Because if against the opposing Esper deck, or if you were Bant or Naya and you had a Dispeller's Capsule, it was like, fuck you, like, I'll just play this.
Yeah, it's a good point. Feud Killer's Verdict. I always thought this card was cool. 6 mana, you gain 10 life. It's a tribal sorcery, by the way, giant. You gain 10 life, then if you have more life than an opponent, you get a 5/5 white giant creature, warrior creature. I really like this card. Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah, great with the Rock Space Mender.
It's a lot of value you're getting with Feud Killer's Verdict. And limited. So that's good. Flicker Wisp, 3 mana, 3/1 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, exile another target permanent. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. This is a great card.
This one's really good.
Doesn't it feel like it's really well costed for what you get?
This one's really good with Kitchen Finks, too, that's in this set.
Yeah, you can see that.
So,
but it also like takes away a blocker.
Yeah, or completely removes the token.
Or it gives you the blink value of into the battlefield effect creatures on your side. So super versatile. It's evasive, high power, cheap. I don't get it.
Good card. This card is good, and we always sell out of it at the store. Like
it's a popular card too. Gleam of Resistance, 5 mana, instant. Creatures you control get +1/+2 until end of turn. Untap those creatures. Basic land cycling. I
think they brought the basic land cycling stuff back.
I always liked basic land cycling.
Mhm.
That's a cool. I like the actual idea of the specifying cycle,
Yeah, like plane cycle.
wizard cycle,
Oh yeah,
that sort of weird
Yeah.
stuff.
I like that too.
All of that. I felt like that was okay. It wasn't too good. How did you feel about like transmute? Like, would you be happy if you saw transmute in the future again, or did you?
It's very good. It is very good.
It's kind of similar to like a wizard cycling
Yeah,
thing.
I think it's just it might not be specific enough, because you can go search for
And
any
you can
card
mana
of
cost.
that value. So it
Yeah.
really let you be kind of one or two of all of this, plus have my one transmute card at that value or two value. I don't know. It's a good ability. It is a very good ability, but it takes out the randomness of the game.
So maybe they should just stick to specific cycling
I think
abilities.
basic land cycling and call out a land type cycling, those are both fine to me. It gets a little dicey when you have wizard cycling, sliver cycling, but they're good abilities, I don't mind them on like a cycle of creatures for one creature type in each of 5 colors.
I'm trying to think how much it costs. Wasn't the Ether Mage 3 mana?
It was 3 to wizard cycle it.
But you could wizard cycle at instant speed, which was
Mhm.
cool. Definitely relevant in blue, where they could leave up counterspell plus if they
go
didn't need
search
to.
up to fairy then.
Yeah.
Too.
Sounds annoying when you say it like that. But sliver cycling was 3 as well, right? So that even feels like a good cost to tutor.
It
it's-
was fair.
Yeah, it's,
I mean, it
it's
wasn't
a limited
like too
tutor.
good. It
Yeah.
was just. I think it's something you do on 2 cards in Future Sight, and then you just
Be done with it? Okay.
Basic land cycling, totally fair.
Okay.
But searching up like any creature type that's not an obscure creature type, I think is letting people have a little too much certainty in their game of Magic.
Hillcomber Giant, 4 mana, 3/3 Mountain Walk. Landwalkers, definitely good and limited.
Mhm.
Ivory Giant, 7 mana, 3/4. When it enters the battlefield, tap all non-white creatures, and then it has Suspend for 5. What do you think about this card? Because it's so expensive, do you still think it's worth the cost because it basically...
I think it was like the Suspend effect was actually
where
where
you wanted it. I see. Yeah, I mean, sometimes they just can't, even if they see it coming, it's not like they can necessarily do something about it.
It's a turn 5/3/4 haste that taps your opponent's board, usually.
What's the, why can't I think of it? Sleep. It's got like almost like
or
a...
turn 6, I suppose.
It's almost got like a little sleep effect attached to it, a little mini one.
It's exactly Blinding Light, I think. Tap all non-white creatures.
Kithkin Greatheart, 2 mana, 2/1. As long as you control a giant, gets +1/+1 and has first strike. Yeah, this card was always kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Are there a ton of giants? I guess they have the Feud Killer's Verdict already.
Well, Hillcomber Giant and Ivory Giant are both at common.
Yeah, that's right. Meadow Boon, 4 mana, 3/3. When it leaves the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature target player controls. It's also got Evoke for 4. It's kind of a cool card, actually.
Yeah.
You're getting good value off of that if you're hard casting it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And even I can see situations where the Evoke would be relevant.
If you're getting the 3 power among 3 creatures anyway, then
Feels
Evoke's
probably
fine.
worth it. Otherworldly Journey, 2 mana, exile target creature at the beginning of the next end step. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. This is actually kind of a cool card. I like it as a trick. You know, if they're gonna like, it's good anti-removal,
Mm-hmm.
but it's good to stop if they have some crazy aura that you can't deal with. It can take care of that.
Yeah, removes tokens also.
And actually, at the beginning of their end step,
Remove a blocker on their turn, or
on their turn, at the beginning of their end step on their turn, you can exile it, and then they don't get it back until your end step.
which still lets them attack you with it.
True,
Probably
but
better
it lets you get in on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
But you can also.
It's almost like you're using it as a one-turn Doomblade or something. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And you can do the same thing on your end step to get rid of their attacker too. So
Pallid Mycoderm, 4 mana, 2/4 fungus. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a spore counter on it, and you remove 3, get the Sapperling, and then you can sack a Sapperling, and each creature you control, it's a fungus or a Sapperling, gets +1/+1 until end turn.
Interesting wording.
Is it changed, or?
Each creature you control that's a fungus or a sapperling. I mean, it could have been that way. I just feel like
That's different?
it could have just
Perhaps.
been... No.
Used to say it, I see. Wait, that's the Master's version.
Yeah.
Each fungus and each Sapperling. Oh, that's weird.
It's because of tribal. See, this is the other reason that you have to do this. Because now you can have like a shapeshift or a changeling enchantment or whatever that's also a sapperling and a fungus, but giving it +1/+1 means nothing, so they have to specify creatures.
I see.
Oh, tribal.
Making stuff crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Path to Exile's coming back. You happy to see that? In Modern Masters, at least.
Yeah, they've only reprinted it 1,000,000 times already.
Oh, have they, just in like special sets and stuff? I know that they had there was like not
it was
a reward, but
Inventor. It was the F&M.
Oh, okay.
And then it was
God.
Inventor versus...
Can you imagine how cool that F&M was?
F&M, and then Venture versus Koth, and then Commander, and now this. So, yeah, it's been printed a bunch, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Get it into circulation.
Saltfield Recluse, 3 mana, 1/2, tap target creature gets -2/-0 until end turn. I like this card in limited because it's not typically a white ability.
Mm-hmm.
Giving minus to power is not typically white. White typically gets like tap creature down.
Yeah.
So seeing just like it as a trick, I feel like is not necessarily better, but more versatile.
I think
different.
Every color has gotten reduced power effects so far.
Really?
Yeah, because what is it? Ivory Charm was -2. It was Marsh Gas was one of the modes, and that was the first white charm. And then Marsh Gas was the black -2/-0 to all creatures. Shrink, and then blue typically gets it in all its forms now.
Silvergill Dowser is the creature to me that seems most similar too.
And I think Tangarth's Rage might be the only one, but that one does. It's the red one that reduces power. It's the red effect that reduces power.
What's the name of it?
Tangarth's Rage, I think it is. Tangarth.
And that's 1 mana. Chain creature gets +3/+0 as long as it's attacking. Otherwise, it gets -2/-1.
Yeah, so it's actually weakness when it's not attacking.
Still a cool card.
Yeah. Shouldn't have been an uncommon, probably, but whatever.
They didn't know. They tried. Sanctum Gargoyle coming back. 4 mana, 2/3 flying gargoyle. When it enters the battlefield, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. This is actually a really good card.
Mm-hmm.
Really good. If you got enough artifacts in your deck, absolutely. Otherwise, just getting a 4 mana, 2/3 flyer is not that horrible, is it?
No.
It's fine.
This card is just really good.
And
people like that card a lot.
Sandsower, 4 mana, 1/3, tap 3 untapped creatures you control, tap target creature. What do you think of that card? In limited? I feel like it's actually kind of, because it's not even...
It was good in Ravnica because there was Selesnya.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Well, the reason I like this is it's not, I like that it doesn't do anything color specific. It's not like tap 3 untapped white creatures you control, which would have made it so much worse. The fact that it's just tap 3 untapped creatures you control is actually kind of good.
It's a lot of investment to stop an attacker, but if it saves your 3 creatures, that's fine.
Or if you're like, if you want to attack in, I feel like it can be useful. If they have good blockers, but you have like a bunch of creatures, you can be like, play Sandsower, go ahead. You're either going to attack me or at the end of your turn, I'm just going to tap down your 2 important blockers.
It's a much better card if you have a token strategy going.
Mm-hmm. Stir the Pride, 5 mana instant. Choose 1, creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. Or until end of turn, creatures you control gain whenever this creature deals damage, you gain that much life, and it's got Entwine for 2. A little bit expensive, isn't it?
7 mana for that effect.
7 mana +2/+2. 7 mana for Righteous Charge plus lifelink.
At instant speed, though, so it can be used defensively.
True. Still feels expensive.
It's expensive. Even doing the lifelink mode though could probably change things.
But it is playable and limited because it's instant. You're right. Tarashi's Grasp, 3-mana Arcanda.
Oops.
Whoops. Destroy target creature or artifact or enchantment. You gain life equal to its converted mana cost. Interesting. So it's the entire purpose that why this isn't just like a divine offering, or actually this does both, which is kind of cool. But it's an arcane spell, and they do have these spliced onto arcane in Modern Masters as part of the limited strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I never got to play with that because I didn't play during Kamigawa's. But what do you think about Splice? You think it's pretty cool?
It's sweet, but the whole problem with Kamigawa block is everything's so expensive. But it allows you to get your splice going because you
get to
have
that
until a late game.
Yeah, it was hard to do.
Ugh.
It was hard to do aggro in that format.
That block was so obnoxious because of that. Yeah, but if you got the aggro deck, it was like all Bushido guys. So when you were, if you were the not aggro deck and you were playing your shitty 5-drop 2/2s that everybody else was, you were just dying to the Bushido guys anyway.
Yeah, Bushido was a cool ability at least. So they
it's
did
a
have
very
it.
good ability.
It was whenever they're blocked or blocking.
Basically, whenever they get into combat with another creature. So yeah,
it
they're
is cool.
blocked or blocking. Yeah,
it feels like a good ability too. I guess it really only works with like a sort of Asian themed, or like specifically a Japanese.
I think
themed,
that was their like in the end their problem with it was that it was like way too specific
to an Earth-like culture too. You know.
Yeah, but I think their biggest problem was like you can't have Bushido in Theros, you know.
Well, also it's not like you can put it on creatures. It's not like you can have like a bear with
Bushido. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, so it's like
it's strictly a humanoid ability.
Yeah, they had a rampage variant that they can't even use at all, except for in an Asian themed block.
Yeah, which is sad because rampage.
They could bring it back in a core set, and then it would be cool. They could bring back samurais in a core set.
And then they could do Bushido. Yeah,
and that would be cool.
Wait, what's the ability for? Why can't I think
it's slivers.
Wow, so it's not even an actual mechanic.
It's not a keyword returning. It's slivers.
That's interesting. Yeah. Have they done that before?
This is the first time they've done not a mechanic.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty.
Because, well, are you just saying that mostly because the way the slivers look?
No, I'm saying that because it's kind of boring.
You'd rather have a mechanic than a creature type of old.
I don't think that like
that qualifies.
Slivers, yeah, I don't think it qualifies in my opinion. You know, it's like, I guess I now have this strategy I can go to, but I don't know. I suppose Bloodthirst Exalted, but Scry wasn't like something you could be like, oh, I'm gonna play my Scry deck in limited, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, Scry was cool in core set though. Bloodthirst was cool.
Did M10 have a returning mechanic?
Guess we can check. Guess we just have to look at.
Because M11 was Scry, right?
Is it M11 was Scry?
M11 was Scry, M12 was Bloodthirst, and then M13 was Exalted.
Interesting.
Okie dokie.
Well, we'll have to get back to you on that. Test of Faith, 2-mana instant, prevent the next 3 damage that would be dealt to target creature this turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on that creature for each 1 damage prevented this way. Wow, that's a really cool trick.
It was, I think, originally uncommon.
You know why I really like this is against a first strike creature.
Yeah.
That's sick. Where it's like,
I'll chump with this guy. Oh, now he'll kill your guy, actually. Yeah, that is pretty cool.
And permanently get bigger. That's a cool card. What was that originally from?
I think it's 5th Dawn. Could be Darksteel.
Let's look up M10.
Returning mechanic. What could it be? Vigilance.
See a lot of vigilance, but that's just in white. I don't think that's it.
Well,
not find anything yet. I mean, it can be color specific too, right?
Yeah.
Because Bloodthirst was only in black and red.
Green, black, red.
Oh, green, black, red. Okay.
And then blue only got scry, I think. Or was the only one that got scry.
Maybe M10 didn't have anything.
Yeah, I'm wondering
though.
if they didn't give M10 one, and then they were like, we can do this, and they started doing it in M11.
I see. That was the first time that they really started doing retro, bringing back all the old.
I mean, they did a lot of
abilities.
changes with M10, but then they probably just didn't think that it was like something they were, or part of that thing that they wanted to push, I guess, so soon. After all the changes.
We haven't seen anything yet. Doesn't
I'm
look
pretty
like
sure
it.
there's not a mechanic then in M10. It was a good core set.
Okay, yeah. It was a good core set. I liked it. Fireball was in there. Yeah, looks like you're right. They didn't have anything.
Lightning bolt, that's right.
Yeah, lightning bolt. The return of lightning bolt.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't It's not like it was overpowering.
It wasn't overpowering,
no.
But it was that good that you couldn't play. You couldn't expect your 3 toughness creatures to go the distance for you anymore.
True, and if that's a good point. You had to measure a lot of creatures by their removal in the format.
Dive to lightning bolt was a very relevant thing to say.
Because if your opponent was in red, they were almost assuredly
and
playing
you
lightning
could
bolt.
very easily be in red yourself.
Even control decks can play lightning bolt because it's a cheap, powerful removal spell.
Yeah, no color commitment except for the 1 red. So
veteran armor, 2 mana, 2/2. Other creatures you control get +0/+1. I always liked these, and the swordsmith too.
Mm-hmm.
They were cool in core set.
This one's from Ravnica. The
swordsmith and
the
armor smith
are from the core sets, and they're each 3 mana.
So they're more expensive.
Yeah, but they each got their bonus on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So like the swordsmith was a 3/2 that gave all your other creatures +1/+0, and weaponsmith or armorsmith was a 2/3 that gave all your other creatures +0/+1.
Let me go to the bathroom quick. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry.
Aether
Snipe's coming back. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That was so good in Lorwyn block when we were drafting, when we had like the double or triple Aether Snipe deck.
Yeah. The art on this guy is cool. It looks lurk. They're bringing a lot of cool stuff back for Modern Masters. The good thing about this set too is these commons and uncommons, a lot of them are still playable in other formats beyond Modern. Like you can still run Aether Snipe in Commander, and Careful Consideration definitely goes in Commander. Dampened Thought, if you wanted to build a deck around this, it's actually one of the best cards to build a deck around for Splice. Let's see. Echoing Truth's good in Legacy for Dredge against Leyline of the Void. Yeah, so they just did a lot of cool stuff for blue. Well, for this whole set.
See anything else cool?
I was just talking about how nice it is to have all these cards in this set because they're playable in a lot of different formats.
Yeah, even Commander, we found some good Commander cards alongside here. Careful Consideration, stuff like that. Dampened Thought, 2 mana Arcane. Target player puts the top 4 cards of instant Arcane. Target player puts the top 4 cards of his or her library into their graveyard and has Splice onto Arcane. This was probably sick and limited if you could make that.
This was a strategy for sure. For triple Kamigawa, our champions, you could easily get this going. And one of the things to do in triple champions was to side out or side into a bunch of basics then, which is one of the first places that I learned about siding in basics to counteract
the mill deck.
Yeah, mill decks. And it's best not to just put in lands, but to also bring in more cards out of your sideboard. But changing your deck from 40 to 60 out of the sideboard is I don't want to say it's a good strategy, but it is a strategy to combat
Remember when
mill.
we beat that really good mill deck
Yeah.
because we had so many playables that we could actually make
Yeah,
a
we just
60.
added
We made a
more.
60 card deck, a 24 land, and I can't believe we had enough playables out of
Yeah.
that draft. We really just drafted on color that entire
And we
time.
beat him because of that.
Yeah, we totally did.
Yeah.
There was nothing you could do. He was too well set up as a mill deck.
Yeah, and it was to get us from 40 or 33 down to 0 cards. And that's a much easier strategy than doing like 50 to 0.
So we had to play some, suboptimal cards, but
every card was a relevant card against him anyway.
yeah, as long as they were creatures, which we had plenty of, it was fine. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
That really worked that time. I don't know if you can make it as work as smoothly as we did that time every time.
No, and you really need to only bring in cards that are going to add more to your deck too. I don't just mean to say bring in more land and say screw them,
Yeah,
but
you need a few more playables.
yeah, you need to bring cards in too. But adding a couple extra basics so that you
So
don't
you can
get
get some-
screwed out of land like mill too is
And maybe
fine.
you can play some of your good off-color cards you've
Yeah.
drafted.
Go into a third color maybe out of
Yeah.
there's a lot of options there. So to combat mill and limited, sometimes it is a good strategy to do if they have that kind of mill deck where they're just hammering away at your library from the get-go.
Echoing Truth coming back. This card's sweet.
Mhm.
2 mana, return target non-land permanent and all other permanents with the same name as that permanent to their owner's hand. 2 mana instant. So it's like straight up good token killer.
Yeah,
It's like
It
wipe your tokens for 2 mana.
especially since you can have like a million of the same token too potentially.
And it's non-land permanent too. So it even it's like strictly better than disperse. And
Yeah, it is. It is.
What was it originally from?
This is Darksteel.
Oh, is that what
all
it was?
of the echoing cards were from Darksteel.
Is that right? Is Echoing Truth like far and away the best one?
It's the only instant one, I think. Maybe the green one was also instant. Or
Wow.
maybe the red one is the only sorcery. Maybe that's what it is.
The community rating on this is super high, 4.83 out of 5.
So it is from Darksteel.
Pretty impressive.
You should just look up echoing. And
Does
see.
it have a different picture then? No, it didn't. So we can look up all the echoing cards. Calm.
Yeah, so
Destroy target enchantment and all other enchantments with the same name. Alright, let's just see what they all were.
They were all instant except for the
So
red one.
courage is the green, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And what does that give?
+2/+2 to
Oh, that's cool.
all creatures. Or maybe it's +3/+3. No, +2/+2.
Okay. And we've got Decay, which is 2 mana, target creature and all other creatures that with the same name as that creature get -2/-2. That's just a good trick on a single creature too. Looks like all these echoing cards are good for limited. Echoing Ruin, destroy target artifact and all. I guess that one's the weakest one.
Except you could take out all their artifact lands with it.
Actually, no. I take that back. In Mirrodin, too, especially.
Yeah.
Because it was an artifact set.
And it's totally notable that that's the only one that had to be a sorcery.
Yeah, that is the only one that had to be a sorcery. It was too good otherwise in that block. What else we got here? Got a little Ephemeron. He was a cool suspend card. He's a 7 mana 4/4 flyer, or he suspends for 2 mana. Pretty good. I mean, that on turn 2, and like we said earlier, once they get out of suspend, they have haste. So 4 mana or 4/4 flying haste when it comes down on turn 6. But that's pretty good for blue. And in a pinch, you can hardcast it for 7. Although that is pretty pricey. Erratic Mutation, the next card, is like really good because it's straight up like blue removal. 2 and a blue instant, choose target creature, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card. That creature gets +X/-X until end of turn, where X is that card's converted mana cost. Put all cards revealed this way on the bottom of your library in any order. Yeah, so giving -X to toughness The only other example I think of blue doing that's in like Piracy Charm, which was probably that was a unique, and that was blue breaking color by in Planar Chaos. But do you know any cards besides Piracy Charm and Erratic Mutation that are like minus toughness in blue? I think there is more than that.
Shaper Parasite.
Yeah, that's one. And that one was a morph creature. But once again, another Planar Chaos card. So what's interesting is Erratic Mutation is like the only card out, or was that in Planar Chaos
It's
too?
Planar Chaos, yeah.
Okay, so really blue should just not have this ability, is what it boils down to. Any sort
Yeah,
of...
no, it's way too obnoxious in blue, who already has access to counter spells
Yeah.
and bounce effects.
So having creature removal too is like...
Hard creature removal.
would be too good.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cool idea. It definitely is. But I like it more when it's black and blue together, or blue and red together.
Yeah,
you
giving
know?
blue removal is...
Yeah, blue should... This plus X minus X is fine if it's blue plus another color. Because then it makes sense. It's shape-shifting, or whatever.
Esperzoa, 3-mana, 4/3 flying artifact creature, jellyfish. At the beginning of your...
Makes so much sense.
At the beginning of artifact jellyfish!
You know,
Wait, what are you talking?
a metal jellyfish.
Let's look at the picture.
Yeah, Esperzoa is cool looking, but doesn't make sense.
It doesn't even look metallic. Oh, I guess it's got the little... I see.
It's got like
Energy coming
all
out
of
from
this too. You know,
Okay.
that like looks like
It looks like a
Ethereum.
floating brain.
Yeah, it kind of does.
But anyway, you have, at the beginning of your upkeep, return an artifact control to its owner's hand. So really good if you have, like, Quartermunculus, cheap little artifact. Even, actually, that's a good application of Dispeller's Capsule.
Yeah, or artifact lands. This one's really good with that.
Oh, were those coming back too?
I don't know if they just reprinted Darksteel Citadel, but I feel like they should have put at least one in. Maybe they didn't.
Well, they're all, actually, they're banned in Modern, so they wouldn't have put
Not
them.
Darksteel Citadel.
Yeah, but not, so they wouldn't have put
Yeah,
any
so
of
they
the other
didn't put
artifact lands.
Darksteel Citadel in anyway.
How do you feel about starting our draft?
Yeah,
Is that cool?
that's cool.
All right, let's do it. To talk to him later. I may actually have to buy some boosters here. Been getting my butt kicked. Getting my butt kicked. Limited.
Kurt.
My Burt kicked. But can be good to go here. So we got to do good here, Jay. We
Okay.
draft a good deck. We actually drafted some good decks on Thursday. We just sort of got beat up bad.
Real bad. Royal bad.
Real bad. I think you're real bad.
I like the way you talk.
I like the way you talk.
Mhm.
Oh, looks like I need to purchase some more tickets here. I'll have to edit this part out. Alright. Joining a draft here. Can I just force Boris off again?
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll do it based on the picks. It's just if we have a choice of even picks, I always kind of want to go that direction. That's okay to have that.
Okay.
To have that preference in mind, I think that's actually okay. But definitely play it what the packs are. Vrawls. Open Vrawls. That's awesome. Yeah, he's definitely the pick. He's insane.
Yeah, it's very annoying.
Just insane and limited. So we're picking Vrawls. There's also Rot Farm, Sin Collector, Zertod Druid, Armored Wolf Rider, Thrashing Moss Dog. A lot of green, unfortunately.
Yeah, a lot of good green.
A lot of good green, unfortunately, but you can't pass the Vrawls. Too
And
good.
there's also no other good cards, except for maybe How's This There Swat.
Well, we're gonna pass the signal, but maybe we can cut it off enough where it's not a big deal. But
People don't
yeah.
generally go Golgari either out of the first pack. So
yeah, and you can't. I mean, once you have Vrawls, you're pretty good. All right, the next pack's got Far and Away. It has Gruul Warchant. It has Fatal Fumes, Crawl Warrior, Rakdos Drake.
Wow.
All good. I think the pick is really between Far and Away or Gruul Warchant.
Kind of like the Far and Away myself.
Could see that. I could see Gruul Warchant being real badass alongside Scavenge too, though.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Bug is cool though, and then that gives us access to like Beetle Form mages and stuff, which is another good scavenge target. And Beetle Form mages typically go mid, 5th, 6th pick, whatever.
Mhm.
I've picked up 3 of them before and been happy. Far and Away versus Gruul War Chant. I guess Far and Away is just, there's a lot of applications where it's useful.
Yeah.
And even if you just get away,
Yeah, we can play
you're
away.
good. So, you're right. A little more color, less color intensive than the Gruul War Chant. And it's very good. Alright, now we have Battering Crisis, Crawl Warrior. I almost would rather Crawl Warrior.
I would too.
Rubble Belt Maka is remaining in here. Hired Torture, which you probably could wheel. Maybe not, though. It's a pretty light pack. It's also Rakdos Guildgate. I guess we just take the Crawl Warrior over the Battering Crisis. Battering Crisis is fine, but Crawl Warrior I like more.
There's a Crisis.
Or we
Ooh.
can get a Battering Crisis now, but there's also Maze Abomination, Blissar Gatekeeper, Dimir Guildgate, Profit Loss. I'm not opposed to the Maze Abomination. I think I like it more than the Battering Crisis, but it's not to say Battering Crisis is a terrible card, because it's not. I'm just not ever like super impressed with it. And Maze Abomination can be real useful, so we're gonna take that, even though it's a 6-drop. Whatever. All right, this pack's got Rakdos Drake, Runner's Bane. That's about it on color with what we were trying to do. There's also Feral Animist for Gruul. I guess we just take the Rakdos Drake, right? Feels like it's pretty good. Awesome scavenge target. Okay, the next one's got Down and Dirty.
Species Gorger.
Maze Glider, potentially.
Oh, yeah.
To make the far work. I'm okay with that. Species Gorger too, you're right. You could make the blue work. But people tend to like the Gorger if you have like a comes into play effect.
It's not the greatest card, but
Maze
as far
Glider
as like
is
something that
is good too.
is better in your graveyard, I'd rather have the Species Gorger for 5 mana +6/+6 on one of my guys.
Good point. Better with Virals. Okay. Species Gorger.
Ooh, Woodlock Crawler.
There's also Give and Take, Thrashing Moss Dog.
Wow.
Excellent cards in here.
I feel like Moss Dog's the better pick, though, honestly.
Yeah, I think Woodlock Crawler's a little more color intensive than we want. We're not necessarily blue yet.
And
so
we want
get
to be
fixing.
blue,
Give and Take is good too, but
yeah.
we want the Moss Dog. Even though it doesn't technically interact amazingly well with Virals, it does make it. It makes it cheaper.
Yeah.
But just the fact that it's like a reach. Thrashing Moss
Yeah.
is a very useful creature.
I'm kind of surprised to see it that late.
I'm happy to see it that
Yeah.
late. It's good. Bodes well. Drown in Filth.
Helps defeat overalls.
If we-
Hired Torture is better.
If we were to get like Grizzly Salvages or other stuff that's self-mill, I can see Drown in Filth being playable, but I think we just want the Hired Torture.
Yeah, but I only think Drawn and Filth is good as a one of anyway. I don't know. I'm never excited to pick them up.
I haven't played it yet either, so I actually don't know how good it is. So far, we look fine though. I mean, with Virals on your team, you usually feel pretty good. You know. I had some guy freak out on me last time I played. Wow. Tabled the Rot Farm Skeleton, so we're going to slam that. That actually makes Drown and Filth a little more playable, too. Otherwise, Armored Wolf Rider, Phyto Burst,
really
Leave Decree, still remaining in the pack. Happily take the Rot Farm. Okay, so now we can take, it's got Smeltwort Gatekeeper, Steeple Rock, Boros Cluestone, Orzhov Cluestone.
I'd kind of rather have the Steeple Rock out of all of this.
In case we end up...
Junk.
Okay.
Because it's a really good
I can see that.
scavenge.
Alright, Mending Touch, Drown and Filth. We can try Drown and Filth out. If we get Grizzly Salvages, like I said. Potentially play it. It's not super likely, but...
Second one.
Don't really need a second one. We can take the Dimir Clue.
Wow, all of these are on color Cluestones.
I kind of like the... well, that's a good question. Which one do we like more? I guess I'd rather have the Dimir, I think.
Okay, because it's...
Both of the Far and Away.
Yeah.
Mind Static. In case we end up deeper blue, just cutting blue in general. Hate that Maze Sentinel, but I'll take them anyway. And then a Golgari Cluestone last pick, which is kind of cool.
Totally relevant for us.
Playable.
Playable.
So far looking good.
Need more creatures.
Satisfied with Virals. Got 9 creatures already. That's not bad. Out of pack 1.
Well, we're not playing Steeple Rock unless we're done.
It's just an option we have. So back to we're looking at Dimir cards and
Simic.
And Simic.
Krokonura, Shamble Shark.
Yep, both are excellent. I think this
The
is a
Croc,
Krokonura
yeah.
deck, yeah. We don't want to be too color intensive.
Shamble Shark's cool with Virals, however.
Yeah.
As a
2
better
mana plus
scavenge.
2 plus
yeah.
2. But Krokonura is just better
Mhm.
overall. It's also Scarred Guildmage, which is really good. But let's get some Evolve. And actually, Species Gorger is kind of cool with Evolve too.
Mhm.
Right, next pick. Got Realmright.
Swimmer.
Totally Lost. Nimbus Swimmer. Yeah, I'm actually cool with the Swimmer. It's a good in-game threat.
Doesn't work well with Virals, but it's good.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But Realmright being our splash color doesn't really
Yeah.
make sense. And Nimbus Swimmer I can actually see being a worthy splash card. Okay, wow, next pack a lot of Orzhov, but we've also got Devour Flesh, Prophetic Prism. I mean, we're getting Golgari out of our last pack. We're not super deep blue yet.
Devour Flesh?
Prism's typically good, but we're a little bit short on removal is my problem.
Yeah.
And I probably don't want to play Drown and Filth, so let's take the Devour Flesh. Alright, we can take Dimir Guildgate. There's also a Godless Shrine in here.
The Prophetic Prism here, too.
And a Prophetic Prism. I'd almost rather have the Gate.
Yeah, I would, too. Not
So,
commit to our deck.
Yeah, let's take the Dimir Guildgate there. Would have liked to have taken some tickets, but trying to win
Sailor
here.
V.
Trying to win. And I think we're going to need to take some more Simic cards out of this pack. Ooh, Dinrova Horror. I never get to play that card either, so I think we're going to take that.
Well with Species Gorger.
Ooh, I like that. I like the way you're thinking. Corpse Blockade, Greenside Watcher also in here, of note. Totally playable. But I'd rather have the 6-drop. Dinrova Horror is sweet. Works alongside Maze Abomination, too. Yeah, I never get to play Dinrova Horror. I guess sometimes it can turn out to be pretty underwhelming, but whatever. It does enough for me. It's like an Ether Snipe, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't get the opportunity to evoke it, but they also have to discard, so sometimes it's just straight up like a Necrotal if they have 0 cards in hand.
Yeah, that's true.
You can take another Dimir Guildgate. I'll probably take it over the Specialist. Specialist feels weird on the...
Splash.
Yeah, let's take the Dimir Guildgate.
Yeah.
That actually is really well, or does a lot for our fixing. Okay, we can take Shadow Slice out of this next pack. There's also Spire Tracer, Forced Adaptation, Clinging Enemies. Let's just take the Shadow Slice. We have...
At least Rakdos Strike.
1 flyer, and the last pack will possibly open us up to some blue ones we can splash for, maybe. And we have the Nimbus Swimmer, too, actually.
Yeah.
Deck looks okay. So we're really going to have to clean up on Golgari. And is that it? Yeah, out of the last pack. Kind of got cut on Dimir cards out of this pack. I guess we got the Dinrova Horror, but...
Yeah, we did get cut. And on Simic, too.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, the Simic thing I was kind of expecting.
Because we passed the green signal in the beginning, taking the Virals. But you can't regret that, because Virals is just too good.
Mm-hmm.
Too good to not play. I mean, maybe we could have just been like Orzhov and Splash for the green just to play the Virals. That might not have been so bad.
But that far and away second pick, too.
And we saw like a fairly late Thrashing Moss Dog, so going the other way, we should get hooked up with green.
Burst of Strength here?
Yeah, I think we take Burst. There's also Corpse Blockade. But I like Burst. It's a good trick. Alright, second one. Yeah. Also, or we could take Corpse Blockade here. It does evolve, but let's take another Burst.
Yeah.
Good with Moss Dog. Good with Torture, even, in a pinch. Possibly saves Virals. Cool looking bug deck so far. Alright, we can do Totally Lost now. I think it's actually pretty playable.
All right.
We're a little bit short on removal.
Take out the Mind Static then.
Kind of like Totally Lost. Yeah, let's take out Mind Static. Alright, we can take Paranoid Delusions here. Well, I clicked it too fast, but that's okay. We'll take Midnight Recovery. It doesn't really play alongside Virals, but if he dies, against the heavy removal deck, I could see it just to get him back.
Purge.
Purge, the Profane. Beckon, actually playable, but probably not going in. Alright, so we're going to have to clean up on some
Take out the Paranoid Delusions.
We're going to try and clean up on Golgari cards out of this last pack. If we get maybe 2 Grizzly Salvages, I'd consider the Drowning Filth. If we get... I mean, we already have 20 playable cards here, and I'm not unhappy with any of these. Alright, Chromatic Lantern. We also got Rites of Reaping, I want to note, is actually way more playable. There's also Indrik. A little bit Creature Light. This is good for the 4-drop slot. I can get behind Indrik, I think. I'd rather have that than the Rites.
Yeah.
Aerial Predation, hopefully wield that.
Rites goes pretty late, too. I feel like still.
Yeah, definitely. And if no one's Golgari, we should be fine. Lantern and Promenade are cool in here, but Indrik is solid first pick. Ooh, Treasured Find. What else we got in here? Stealer's Secrets.
Dead Reveler?
Dead Reveler's very good.
Centaur's Herald's good, but not good with Varals, unfortunately.
Good point. Dead Reveler is still fine with Varals. It's a good attacker. Let's take it.
Okay.
I'm cool with that. Good picks in here, though. We probably wield a Treasured Find, and, you know, Treasured Find might actually be more playable in full block. I haven't decided yet. Growing Ranks, that's cool. Selesnya Charm. Wow. Yeah, I think we're probably going to end up taking the Scorpion. I'm not thrilled about passing Selesnya Charm, but we're kind of staying a little bit more focused here. Getting some good scavenge. Ooh.
Wow.
Get a Lotleth Troll. There's also Indrik, Roustabout, Giant Growth in here, but pretty happily.
The Lotleth Troll helps us tremendously.
Getting Troll and Varals in the same deck is really cool.
We need some high power, low toughness cheat guys.
Yeah, it's true.
Brush Strider would be much depreciated.
That would be good alongside Varals. Lotleth Troll with Burst of Strength isn't so bad either.
Lotleth Troll with Maze Abomination is pretty good.
Yeah, Lotleth Troll's pretty good.
Yeah.
Get a little Trample, Death Touch.
Actually, with Shadow Slice too.
A lot of things.
Troll's good.
Yeah, it's just I'm really happy to see that. What was it? 3rd pick, maybe 4th pick. Tells me no one else really went into Golgari. Golgari's a sweet one because Scavenge got stronger in full block, and you can't really design for it until last pack, you know. So
there's that sound.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have the Giant Growth. Death's Presence is actually, I bet, better in full block too. But let's take the Giant Growth. More likely to wheel that Grizzly Salvage.
Ooh,
okay, another Indrik. There's also Locust.
Which has no benefit from our Varol.
And there's also Underworld Connections too, which is playable.
We only have 15 creatures.
Kind of want the Indrik.
Best, yeah.
Have a bunch of reach guys. Will be good against the flyer deck. I mean, it's quite a few 4-drops, but I really think that's okay. Rogue's Passage is cool too.
Yeah.
But let's get another creature. All right, we can actually make some cuts now, so this will help us. Ooh, Long Legs out of this pack. But let's think what we don't need Drowning Filth. We probably don't need the Golgari Cluestone. And may not need the Shadow Slice or the Totally Lost, but this is 24 cards.
I'd cut Shadow Slice first.
Okay, we can cut the Shadow Slice, and we can actually cut Totally Lost, and then we have another space, so we can probably play Long Legs there.
Okay.
And that feels really good with Varals too. It's a fatty, efficient creature. Okay, now there's Perilous Shadow, Gobbling Ooze, Towering Indrik. Yeah, let's play all the Indriks. Are you opposed to that?
No.
I think that's fine.
That card is very good.
Yeah, we did table the Rites of Reaping. Could also take the Transguild, but I think this could be a Rites deck. Potentially, don't you think? Since
yeah,
it's like,
we might still be able to cut blue or get it to a very small amount, like Species Gorger or...
I mean, maybe we don't play all the Indriks, but we'll see. Like, this is 24 actually right now, so we could cut something. Maybe we cut more blue.
Yeah, I think Species Gorger is totally able to be cut. But Rites of Reaping's fine.
Let's take Rites.
That's only 3 blue cards in our deck now.
Trestle Troll, pretty happily slam that.
I'm really surprised that's there.
That also gets us to our later game.
Take the Growing Ranks.
Can't even play it, can we?
Can we play any of this other stuff? Mizium Skin, I guess, if you want to trick. But we already have Giant Growth, 2 Bursts of Strength. Essence Backlash will work.
I could see that being good against us.
I guess Hussar Patrol was good too.
Yeah. It's a cool deck. I can see how we're going to have to design this. We may not even dip into blue.
Well, we've got Far and Away. I feel like we can play Dimir Guildgates and Dimir Cluestone and be done. Like,
yeah, and maybe just do the Dinrova Horror
or
a Nimbus Swimmer. I think I'd rather do the Dinrova Horror, although Nimbus Swimmer is very good. At least in Robo Horror interacts with
Yeah,
Brawls.
Brawls.
Doorkeeper, decent. Better than the Steed. Although the Steed's another one of those cards we were talking about earlier in the podcast with the minus...
3 minus 0?
Yeah,
Minus
the
2
minus,
minus 0?
the minus power
Yeah.
in blue. So really happy with our pool. Looks pretty satisfactory. Hook this deck up. Maybe we don't need the torture. This is
Far and
21. Want the far and away. And then we could possibly do the
Gorger.
or the horror. Or the
Oh, the horror is in already.
Oh, okay. Or the swimmer. But you were saying Species Gorger because of it's just a fatty finisher and
It doesn't really
and
interact. We don't have any cheap guys.
no. We're a little bit clunky.
Yeah, so maybe Nimbus Swimmer is better.
Plus we probably have a creature that we've scavenged onto, maybe.
Yeah, I guess you could even do Axebane Stag then.
I don't mind doing the Nimbus Swimmer on the splash. I guess we get a little...
Oh wait, you don't have Demir Cluestone in either.
Yeah. Oh, do we want that for sure?
No, I guess we don't need it. We're only doing Demir, or Genrova Horror,
And Nimbus Swimmer.
and Far and Away.
And Far and Away doesn't... You don't need it. We could do one more island, and I'd be done with just 2 cards in the deck that are fine on the splash anyway. Like, you want to play these pretty late game.
Yeah. Okay.
They come out late game. So, yeah, this is 23. I like that. How color intensive are we? Pretty damn green and still pretty black. So, these are a black source already. Let's see what they say. We probably lower the amount of black they say. We only need 1 blue, in my opinion, and we can do... I mean, we need black early, too, for a lot less troll and brawls.
Yeah, but this
And,
gives us
and
even
all
black.
these, too.
Even black, even green.
Yep. So 8 black, 8 green, 3 blue.
Seems.
Satisfactory.
Yeah.
Yeah, this deck looks good. Let's try and capitalize on that troll and brawls and really get there. Our removal looks good. Good tricks. Strong spells.
Great defense versus flyers.
Good amount of creatures. I don't even feel bad about triple Indrik. They just block well. Alright, let's play it. See round 1. Now, I guess that's it for this podcast. So, thanks a lot for tuning in. We didn't have a guest this week, Jake, which is kind of weird, but
It's okay.
every once in a while we can 2-man it.
Yeah.
And I guess there wasn't too much to talk about. We only talked about a few spoilers, but we'll have to come up with another guest next week that we can bring on, and hopefully we're gonna have some more content recorded soon, like what is it, Tristan that we had on, and Chris, who's a guy I'll probably try and get on the podcast. They're gonna start recording some videos for me. At least they told me they did. So I'd like to put up some different content for you guys to see, because I know Chris has he has a legacy deck online. He's got modern, so we could seeing all the different formats would actually be really enjoyable. I'd like to watch those videos and learn some stuff. So thanks for tuning in. Email me at mortarpod@seemsgoodmagic.com. Talk to me. Let me know what you want to do. Check out my blog. I'm still trying to blog as often as I can, and report about how I'm doing in paper magic. We've been live streaming Tuesdays, Thursdays, 7 p.m. Central Time. If you want to support me, go to my eBay store. I'm really trying to push for the cheapest prices on there. You only pay $1 shipping for any number of items domestically, and then it's only $3.50 internationally. So not terribly expensive shipping cost, and you can take any number. And I really have, I mean, most play sets are like 99 cents, so pretty cheap. And I've got some decent rares up too. But that's it for the podcast. If you want to see this list, go to SeemsGoodMagic.com, and I'll have these games posted. So thanks. See you guys later.